Casella Ribbons Pink Lady Rs 150. Syngonium Rs 50. Color Terracotta Pots Rs 100. Hi guys, hope you're well. If you live in South Bangalore, then Arun Farm and Nursery located on NH75 can be a great place for your plant shopping. They have plants at reasonable rates, huge variety of succulents, different varieties of colored terracotta pots, etc. To find out more, let's continue with the video. They had a great collection of succulents. Majority of them were at Rs 150. Only few varieties of cactus were at Rs 250. All the succulents that you can see on the screen right now were for Rs 150 only. This variety of cactus was for Rs 250. Now again, if you see these succulents, which is called Vishnu Kamal or Echeveria, these were for 150 only. These were relatively small size, but I think the cost is reasonable because if you'll buy this from elsewhere, it's gonna cost you about 200 or more than that also. Again, you can see some more variety of Echeveria over here. So they had some botful Havarti as well, as you can see here. Guys, they have nicely labeled all their plants so you can find the price on these labels. For example, this small rose was for Rs 30. The bigger version of the same plant was for Rs 100. This Casella Ribbons Pink Lady was for Rs 150 only. If you will buy this from online websites, it's gonna cost you maybe 300-400. So they were giving at 150, I think, which is reasonable cost. Again, you can find some succulents. As I told you, almost all of the succulents were for Rs 150 only. Only those moon cactus which I showed you earlier were for Rs 250. You can find some Echeverias were even very big in size, so you can choose your piece accordingly. All these are of the same price as I told you, Rs 150. And you can find some pots like this in which they have two varieties in one pot. So now we have some ficus for 150, the bigger one for 600. Again, the bonsai big one for 1000 rupees. Here's a money tree for Rs 300 only. Euphorbia 150. Some Gerbera 150. These kind of bromeliads were for Rs 120 only. They have multiple shoots in the same pot. Kalanchoe was for Rs 180. These snake plants were for Rs 150 only. And some of these you can see these are tornado snake plants. So they had two different settings. In one setting they were selling it for 150, which was small plants, and bigger plants like this in which you had multiple shoots was for Rs 250. Now Alocasia for 100 rupees. Here you can see some pothos for Rs 70. Now I was talking about this section. This was another section of Sansevieria for Rs 150 only. Now they had this semi-dwarf variety of Sansevieria at Rs 250, the longer ones at Rs 300, and the big pot which contains multiple shoots for Rs 1300. Orchid was for Rs 600. Anthurium for Rs 300. There are different colors of anthurium available, as you can see, purple, white, red, etc. These Diphonbachias for rupees 100. This fern for rupees 150. Small fiddle fig for rupees 150 only. Oxycardium rupees 100. Syngonium rupees 50. You can see they have a lot of Christmas syngonium. Then pothos for rupees 70. They had various types of syngonium available with them right now. So if you want to add some new varieties of syngonium into your garden, you can visit and pick it from there. This fern was for rupees 100. Peperomia rupees 60. These small rubber plants were for rupees 100 each. These were basically very small plants, and you can even call them saplings. These Monstera Adansonii for rupees 200. These Alocasia for rupees 250. Schefflera rupees 100. Ceylon rupees 100. This Philodendron Black Cardinal rupees 500. These bird nest fern rupees 250. Xanadu rupees 100. Aglonema rupees 200. These Diphonbachias were for rupees 200. Fern for rupees 100. Philodendron Birkin rupees 400. These were some ZZ plant in big pots. These were for rupees 600 each. They had a huge variety of Aglonema with them. You can see the entire row over here is completely filled with Aglonemas. So if you're looking for some new varieties of Aglonemas, then you can come here and look out for them. These Aglonemas were in 10 to 12 inch pot and costed rupees 150. These small ZZ plants were for rupees 200. These Racina variety for rupees 200. These are Arelia for rupees 60. These Racina for rupees 100. These raw plant for rupees 160. These were in about 6 inch pot. These Philodendron for rupees 400. These Mostic plants for rupees 750. Strawberry plants rupees 100. Now they had some great collection of hanging plants as well. These were for rupees 200 each. You could find pothos, ferns, begonias, succulents, etc. Croton for rupees 100. Dahlia for rupees 100. Vinca for rupees 40. Chrysanthemum rupees 120. Geranium rupees 100. These are Arelia for rupees 60. Poinsettia rupees 400. Coleus rupees 50. These begonias were for rupees 60. These dianthus rupees 40. These polka dot plants for rupees 40. Petunia rupees 50. Marigold was for rupees 40. Salvia for rupees 50. Again, this was another row of hanging plants. Now this big Philodendron rupees 300. Philodendron big black cardinal rupees 600. This big pot of Aglonema was for rupees 5000. This Dracena variety rupees 800. These Croton in big pots were for rupees 200. Then they had these huge ZZ plants for rupees 1000. This was probably maybe 18-inch pot. Again this Dracena for rupees 500. China doll plant at rupees 800. Starts from here outdoor plants. Since there were so many varieties of outdoor plants with them, I could not capture each and every variety, but I have captured as many as I could. You'll be able to see the price tag of these plants on the labels attached to them. If you want to check these prices, please pause your video and you can check the prices. This butterfruit plant for rupees 200. This guava plant for rupees 50. This is another variety of guava plant for rupees 80. This is lemon for rupees 100. Turkey blue fig rupees 150. These curry leaves plants were for rupees 80. This grape plant for rupees 50. Lemongrass rupees 50. Milk fruit rupees 400. Mango plant rupees 600. This mint plant was for rupees 40. Insulin plant rupees 80. Tulsi plant rupees 30. Guys, they had a huge varieties of pots with them. One rare thing that I found in this nursery was availability of colored terracotta pots. For example, this pot was about 5-inch and costed rupees 100. Likewise, they had so many different varieties of terracotta pots which were beautifully colored. They had this kind of hanging planters as well, in which you can put 3 different plants. This kind of planter which you can put on your railing. This is the self-watering planter in which you can put water-loving plants such as calathea, spider plants, etc. These were available for 85 in a small size. Like this one which I have picked here was for rupees 85. They had spray bottles with them as well, different kind of plates for your planters like this, etc.